Okay, in alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam Allah, wa rasulullah. For the people on YouTube, mashallah, this was a great episode, of what happened as a consequence of these people coming to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asking him to help them. And I think something important that needs to be shared is, this was a tribe. They could have went to the Quraysh asking for help against the highway robbers, or they could have went into other different Arabic tribes, but they chose to come to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Muslims for help, and that's kind of important right there. So let's take a look at the quiz here from this episode. Let me set it up here. So this was episode 10 of the second season of the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And let's look at the first question. This session started off with a young boy whose name was Saud. He wanted to go and fight, with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but his mother was sick, and he was worried about leaving her. So the young boy went and told his mother that he wanted to go and fight, with the Prophet and the Muslims. What did his mother do? Did she refuse him, or did she tell him to go? Did his mother refuse him or tell him to go? Let me see if I can't see my screen. Go ahead, Brother Ammar. Brother Ammar.
She told him to go.
Do you guys agree with his answer?
Yeah.
Yes, she did. Yeah, his mother, even though his mother was very sick, she told him, don't worry, son, go ahead and go and fight with the Prophet. So that shows what type of believing woman his mother was. How many women today would tell their sons to go and fight when they were sick on their bed like that? Let's look at the next question. Let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Oh, I did skip something. What happened to my other question? Wait a minute. I had another question. Where is the PowerPoint at before this? Anyway, let's go. I guess some way the PowerPoint didn't put it on there. Oh, okay. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had decided to fight. He gave the man that came seeking his help his answer. Yes, we will fight for you against these people who robbed your caravans. And when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his men set out to fight the robbers, what did the robbers do when they saw the Prophet and his army coming? Go ahead, Tahira. Did they fight to the death, or did they run away?
They ran away.
Do you guys agree that they ran away? When the army of the robbers saw the Prophet coming, did they run away?
Yeah.
Good job. Yes, they did. They were cowards. They ran away. Cowards. Exactly. Okay, let's look at the next question. After the robbers ran away, one of the robbers didn't. Instead, he went and met with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Why did he go and meet with the Prophet? Was it to attack him, or was it to convert to Islam? Who can remember? Go ahead, Tahir. Brother, go ahead.
To Islam.
She said to convert to Islam. Is this true, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And like I said, this was a lot of this is how Islam spread. These were the dark ages. This was the horrific time in history, and the Arabs were a very warrior race of people. They were always robbing and fighting and killing each other. But this man was so impressed with the Prophet Muhammad and his army's mannerisms that he said, I want to be like them. And that's what I'm telling you guys. Dawah, remember your behavior, your actions. Other people are watching your actions. Other people are watching your behavior. And your behavior can be good or it can be bad. We want to try to make our behavior good so other people want to be like us. And that's how Islam spread it. Okay, let's look at the next question. While the boy was in the army with the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what happened to his mother? Did she become healthy? Did she die, or did she become more sick? Brother Yusuf, go ahead. What happened to the young boy's mother?
She died.
You guys agree?
Yes.
Yes, she did.
Yes.
Yes, she did. And I'm going to tell you guys, back in those days, they didn't have medicine like we have today. So most people didn't live past the age of 30. And unfortunately, most people used to die of just for no reason, because they didn't have the technology that we have today to help with sickness. So a person can be well today and die tomorrow. So while this young boy was out fighting in the way of Allah, his mother ended up dying. She died. But mashallah, she died a Muslim believer, because she sent her, knowing that she was sick, she still let her son go out and fight with the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that brings us to the next question. After the robbers and their men ran away and didn't fight, the Quraysh heard about what happened. And how did they react? Did they make plans to attack the Prophet and his companions? Or did they blame Abu Sufyan for everything? Or did they do both of the above? Both of the above. Go ahead, Sabrina.
They planned to attack the Prophet and his companions.
Okay, do you guys agree?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, they did both. They did both. They planned to.
I didn't say both.
Yeah, good job. Both. Exactly. They planned to attack the Prophet and they blamed Abu Sufyan. What did they blame Abu Sufyan for, Amalia?
Because they blamed Sufyan because they said, "Why didn't you fight back? You always want to defeat Muhammad."
Exactly.
Muhammad.
You know, they were mad at Abu Sufyan because remember, the Quraysh had planned to attack him at Badr in the last episode. But remember, Abu Sufyan had a bad feeling and he refused. What happened was, this is when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had married Abu Sufyan's daughter, Habiba, as we talked about in my class on the heroines of Islam.
That's when you talked about Habiba when he betrayed.
Exactly. Y'all remember when he married when the Prophet married Habiba, Abu Sufyan's heart began to change. Because, go ahead, Amalia.
And the Prophet hadn't seen her for 6 years.
Exactly. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam married her and wasn't with her for 6 years. It wasn't until 6 years later. And Abu Sufyan, his heart had been softening toward the Prophet. Remember, we talked about how when we can also help the Muslims in Palestine by making dua, asking Allah to cause the heart of their attackers to soften. And that's what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do a lot of. Yes, go ahead, Sabrina.
And when Abu Sufyan asked for the king to bring his daughter back, he said no. But he still was kind of like worried about his daughter. And when he got married, he didn't show like a bad reaction. He was like happy for her.
Exactly. The Abu Sufyan was happy about his daughter marrying the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So his heart was changing. Amalia, you wanted to add something else?
And when she made a rug for the prophet to come because she was so excited. But after when Abu Sufyan came, when he was about to sit on it, she said, "No, you're not a Muslim." I forgot what she said, but she said you're not a Muslim and all that stuff.
Exactly, and he converted to Islam right after that. Yeah. So again, Allah, this is the power of dua. This is the power of dua, and that's why I don't want you as Muslim kids to ever forget the power of dua. Dua is the greatest weapon that we have as Muslims. Okay. And that's what the prophet used to do. He didn't do protests. The prophet Muhammad didn't protest. Why? Because protesting is not a good thing for us to do. Because remember, Islam is supposed to be a religion of unity. You're only protesting. We don't protest for just a certain group. We're supposed to have allegiance to all the Muslims. So the prophet didn't protest. But what he would do was make dua. He would make dua also asking Allah to change the heart of the enemy, to make some of the enemy of affluence convert. And this is what happened. That happened with Abu Sufyan. So that's why the Quraysh were angry at him, because Abu Sufyan, didn't fight the prophet in the first at the battle that happened before this. Okay, so they blamed him for all the problems. Good job. Let's look at the next question. So the Quraysh planned to do which of the following things? Did they plan to gather all the Arabic tribes together and join and fight the Muslims? Or did they plan to fight the Muslims alone just to show that they were the best of all the Arabs? Which one did the Quraysh do? Go ahead, Asma and Najma.
They decided to gather all the Arabic tribes and join together to fight the Muslims because they thought that since they had battles with the Muslims already, and they lost, that they weren't strong enough to just fight the Muslims on their own. So they
Exactly. So they decided to gather all the tribes of Arabs to fight with the Muslims too. And what about this? Is this true or false? The Jews the Jews refused to unite with the Quraysh to fight. Is that true or false? The Jews refused to unite with the Quraysh to fight. Go ahead, Amali.
Pizza.
Huh?
We're not saying.
Okay, Sabrina. True or false, Sabrina?
False.
You guys agree with Sabrina?
Yes.
Yes. So the Jews ended up joining the fight too. So this was going to be the biggest army. The Quraysh and all the Jewish tribes, all the Arab tribes that were not Muslim, the Jewish tribes that were kicked out of Medina, they were all going to join together and fight the prophet and his army. And what religion did the Jews say was the best religion? The religion of the Quraysh or the religion of the prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Go ahead, Tahira. Tahira.
The religion of the Quraysh.
You guys agree?
Yes.
And what was their religion?
Yes.
What was the religion of the Quraysh? Anybody know?
Worshipping idols?
Exactly. They were pagans. So the Jews told them, "Oh, the pagans is better than believing in Allah." That shows how the Jews were kafirs. Okay. And when the word got back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the Quraysh had united with all the other Arabic tribes and Jews, what did he do when he heard of this? Did he hold a meeting to discuss it with the others, or did he immediately declare war? What did he do, Brother Ammar?
Held a meeting to discuss what.
Exactly. He held a meeting with his companions, with Abu Bakr and Umar and them, to discuss what they thought would be the best plan of action. And this shows the humility of the Prophet Muhammad, because he could have just said, okay, let's just go out and fight. But he decided to meet with the other companions to get their views. So that shows his humility. That shows he was not an arrogant man. Yes, go ahead, Amalia.
You said we'll meet at every prayer.
Exactly. He said we'll meet at the prayer. Exactly, to discuss what we should do about this this attack that the Quraysh and the Jews want to launch on us. And this was supposed to be the biggest army, the biggest attack against the Muslims. So as you guys can see, the same thing that's going on over there in Palestine. You know, this is the same thing that the Prophet and the Muslims had to endure. Okay, and we learn from him and how he handled himself in these times of stress, what we should do to help. You know, the power of supplication. The power of supplication, man, that's everything. And the power of practicing our religion, of going to the mosques and praying together and showing harmony with each other. Yes, go ahead, Asma Najma.
I know the answer because Father Muhammad would just declare fight in this.
I'm sorry.
He needs to plan it first because, going out and fighting after you hear something does not work.
Exactly. Exactly. To just jump up and start fighting without thinking stuff out is not intelligent. So that shows how the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a smart man. He didn't operate off emotions. And a lot of the Muslims here that are not in Palestine need to learn from that. You look at Muslims here in America, Muslims in the United Kingdom, they're so emotionally distraught. They got all this anger and all this hostility when they're not even involved over there. You know, they need to learn some humility. You know, Islam teaches us to balance our emotions, to balance our thoughts, to balance our reactions. Don't be so quick to jump up and down and scream and holler. Instead, think, plan, think things out. That's what the Prophet taught us, to plan and think things out. Don't just react without a plan. So, mashallah, this was a great session. And I can't wait to see next week what happens, because now we got the Quraysh and the Jews and the other Arabic tribes all united together, thinking they're going to finally take out the Muslims. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Okay, we're going to stop right here. We had a good hadith for the day. I want you guys to remember, you know, it's normal to have feelings. It's normal to have bad feelings about what's happening to the Muslims around the world and other parts of the world. But remember that whatever is happening to them, they can handle it. They can handle it, because if they couldn't handle it, hold on for a second. Wait a minute. Let me text this lady. Okay. Yeah, because if they couldn't handle it, then Allah wouldn't have sent it to them. So whatever hardships that any of us face as a nation or as a person or people, you know, we can handle it. Otherwise, Allah wouldn't give it to us. So we just have to be strong, be firm, be patient, call upon Allah for help, call upon Allah for guidance, and He'll get us through it, inshallah. Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating. I'm so glad that we were able to start our class on time for a change, and I was able to be up. Like I said, I don't know what's going on. Zarina's working. That's why she hasn't been here. So until Zarina's schedule gets better, we'll be doing this class we'll be doing a Sunnahfollowers Kids every Sunday at 2. We'll be doing just my part, which is the Hadith and the Seerah. When she comes back, then we'll do the Arabic, okay? All right. I want to thank everybody for joining. Make sure you guys are here for my 6 o'clock class. I want all of you to participate in the class on Wala wa Better. All right. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Everybody have a good day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum salam.